filling the position vacated by Nuri Martinez. City Clerk Holly Walcott.
That is a unanimous vote. Congratulations, Council President Paul Krikorian. I will now yield the chair to you.
Krikorian, the first Armenian American to serve as council president, was elected in 2010 to represent Council District 2. Formerly an attorney and state assembly member, Krikorian currently chairs City Council's Budget and Finance Committee.
As long as I am given the privilege of serving in this office as your president, the presidency will be a collective enterprise. It'll be a presidency that relies on a leadership team of diverse abilities and diverse experiences and diverse backgrounds and diverse viewpoints. I thank you very much, members, for your confidence. Let's get to work.
To keep up to date on the current activities of City Council, visit lacity.gov. Mayor Garcetti visited Buenos Aires to attend the C40 World Mayors Summit, a triennial climate action conference which ran from October 19th to the 21st. The summit brings together mayors, climate experts, advocates, business leaders, and youth activists to address the climate crisis. While there, Garcetti led a forum addressing opportunities to reduce emissions in buildings and transport. Learn more about LA's commitment to fighting climate change via the Mayor's Green New Plan at plan.lamayor.org. For Dia de los Muertos, the LA Zoo and Plaza de la Raza have co-created a beloved pets ofrenda. An ofrenda, which means offering in Spanish, is an altar created to honor loved ones who have passed away. Located at the front entry plaza of the zoo, guests are welcome to place photos, drawings, and mementos of pets on the altar. The ofrenda pays respect to the Hispanic heritage of Los Angeles and provides a way to reflect on the importance of animals. Visit lazoo.org to find out more about all the current and upcoming events at the zoo.
Can you imagine trick-or-treating next to an elephant or seeing your favorite animal eat pumpkin treats? At Boo at the LA Zoo, you can do that and much more. After a hiatus due to COVID, families could bring their kids in costume and celebrate Halloween around exotic animals and fun decorations while learning about the different species in the zoo.
Autumn is finally here, so we're really happy to embrace Halloween. So as such, you can see that we are bringing back, after a hiatus, Boo at the Zoo. So we have special feedings with pumpkins for specific animals on weekends. We also have trick-or-treating, and we'll be serving candy to all the kids with costumes, lots of themed activities.
I think it's a great idea that they have the zoo incorporating Halloween, especially the fact that kids can come dress up and they can also see all the amazing animals here.
We brought him because he loves animals. He's into skeletons. He's really into Halloween at such a young age. We definitely had to bring him here.
This is a tradition for our families. We come every year, and the kids look forward to it because they love the animals, they love the decorations in the zoo, they love to get candy, and it's an extra day to dress up.
It's awesome to do this for the kids, and it's something good for the kids. In this time and age, you know, you want something positive, and I see all the little kids having a good time, and it's fun.
The kids have been looking forward to it for a few weeks now, and they've just looked forward to dressing up in their costumes, having fun with their friends, and just seeing all the decorations here at the zoo.
We should mention the ofrenda, which is offered here at the LA Zoo, and we're happy to state that it's the only ofrenda dedicated to our beloved pets.
The kids, the pandemic has been really hard on them, and it's nice to do something normal and just to feel like it's Halloween again. You know, the last few years have been hard.
It's a great opportunity for everyone to just be normal again, you know, and have a good time, and it's great. I'm already in awe of just the whole decor and the people. Everyone's just having a good time, and I'd encourage everyone to come.
There's so much action going on, so much fun, and the kids are really excited, and it's just really nice to see the smile on kids' faces. But at the same time, it's a good learning experience. We want people to learn about animals, just be able to connect with nature by visiting all of our exhibits, being able to visit our education stations. We definitely just want to convey to everyone in Los Angeles that this is your zoo. We are very inclusive, and we want to invite everyone of every community to come join us in the fun. This zoo is for you.
Happy Halloween!
MacArthur Park was recently brimming with the sounds of lush rhythms and dancing couples thanks to the Latin Jazz Festival. The Latin community and music lovers of all types came together to enjoy live performances over a beautiful fall weekend. Check it out.
The Latin Jazz Festival, from what I know, has been going on for many years, and it was at Sycamore Park before, but we actually brought it over to MacArthur Park this year. We are in the process of finishing up the beautification, so we're excited to have it here and show everyone all the work that's been happening.
I took a walk around the whole park before I got into here, and they did a remarkable job. It looks really, really nice. When I heard that they were doing the concert here, I was a little skeptical. That's why I did the tour around the block, and I was very impressed what the city's done to this park. And I think with the kids' playground, which really blew me away, which was really nice, I'm really glad that the city is doing that to some of the parks for the community especially.
Just to keep the beat and to dance with it, you know. When I'm not dancing, I'm using these. I'm keeping with the beat.
It's a culture thing. It's you know, a Latino thing. It's you know, the roots, where we all came from. Not just Mexicanos. I mean, you're talking about South Americans. They're Latinos from Cuba, Puerto Rico, South America, Los Angeles. All my musicians, we all know each other, playing in Southern California. And it's really nice to get together and do this for the community. It's a blessing.
The audience that was coming out has been increasing every single year, so people are enjoying this. They enjoy the intercultural exchange, because you see people of all sizes and shapes and cultures and different races all dancing together and then just enjoying each other. And that's the whole point of cultural exchange here in Los Angeles, because there's so many different types of cultures here.
San Pedro became a little bit more Italian, with family, friends, and neighbors gathering for Festa Italiana 2022. Councilmember Joe Buscaino shared the excitement of celebrating its 11th edition and having Italian Americans and Italian culture lovers come together to enjoy delicious food, lively music, and traditional dances.
The city of Los Angeles is a global city. We pride ourselves of being home to over 200 countries. And here in San Pedro, the largest Italian-American community in all of Los Angeles, we're here celebrating Festa Italiana, our 11th straight year. And this is an opportunity for all Italian-Americans and non-Italians to come and enjoy family, great food, and great entertainment.
San Pedro is one of the largest Italian communities on the West Coast. San Pedro was derived from a fishing town of Italians that came here and migrated to the same climate as there was in Italy and to make a better life.
The Italians, they bring always happiness, no matter where you go. They talk loud and they are very warm-hearted. So that's why when you have the festivity in Italian, you always go. We are here to enjoy the food, the music, all the harmony that it's around. That's what is the difference.
was 3 years old when I came, and my dad was a fisherman. Her father was a fisherman. This was a fisherman industry here in San Pedro. And we just want to, with our kids and our grandkids, we want to keep the tradition going.
In our featured story this week, our own Ann Police sits down with Erica Blyther, Petroleum Administrator for the City of LA. Erica discusses the evolution of Los Angeles being one of the largest oil producers in the world and how we're now going green. Let's hear the story and find out about the challenges and initiatives currently underway.
Once one of the world's largest oil producers, Los Angeles would like to become a leader in going green, and they are headed that direction. This is in part thanks to an effort to cap oil drilling within the city of Los Angeles. Joining us today is Erica Blyther. She is Petroleum Administrator. So let's start with the big question. What's a Petroleum Administrator? What does that mean?
So historically, as you mentioned, one of the major population booms was when oil began in the 1800s, 1900s. So in 1892, Edward Doheny drilled one of the first oil wells in what's now Echo Park. As the city became more developed, they realized they needed to have someone to look at oil and gas leases. So in the 1950s and 1960s, the Petroleum Administrator position was created, and the focus was just on oil drilling. Over time, there was less drilling and production, and so the duties kind of faded away. But with the Aliso Canyon disaster, as well as a lot of concerns about fracking, there was a realization that there needed to be a renewed focus on petroleum as well as natural gas and safety. And so our goal is really to be in charge of oil information, so it focuses on the drill sites, the pipelines, as well as refineries.
It's a lot. How many active oil sites are there right now in Los Angeles?
So there are currently 15 active drill sites. There's no place where people live closer to oil than in Los Angeles. Here, people literally are living right on top of the oil fields. They're in their backyards, front yards, right next door. A lot of them are in Council District 15, a number also in Council District 5. And the drill sites just are where the oil happened to be naturally deposited. So there are a lot of concerns about the air quality impacts from oil drilling. So when you drill for oil, you get natural gas too. So a lot of times oil and gas go together. But that natural gas, if it leaks, that causes a lot of environmental concerns. So methane is a much more potent greenhouse gas even than carbon dioxide. Some speculate as much as 84 times as powerful. It is a reactive gas that can destroy the ozone layer and just really heat up the planet. So it can really cause a lot of health, not only health effects in the short term, but in the long term in terms of climate change.
LA is trying to lead the charge in going green, not just in Los Angeles, but the entire state of California. What are your thoughts when you hear things like that?
We're really on the leading edge for, I think, going green. I think the city of Los Angeles, California in general,
yes,
but definitely the city of Los Angeles is doing a lot of things. So we have the Green New Deal, we have what's called the Sustainable City Plan, but all of these are looking at ways to be greener. I know the mayor works a lot with C40, which is a group of 40 cities that were really leading the way towards being green, looking at ways of helping the planet. And so that whole coalition has been looking at ways, but really LA is really taking the lead in a lot of its initiatives and things that are occurring.
Learn about the beauty of Afghan culture through dance. Attend the annual baseball reliquary Shrine of the Eternals, or observe the total lunar eclipse through Griffith Observatory's virtual broadcast. All this up next on Things to Do.
Expressing culture and tradition through dance is an ancient way of bringing communities together. In Dance, a window to the beauty of Afghan culture, Angelinos will have the chance to experience the authenticity and uniqueness of Afghan dance styles. With the help of Samia Karimi, a dancer and choreographer, dance aficionados will learn about her experience of immigration, how she connected with her Afghan heritage through dance, and enjoy a showcase of different Afghan dance styles. Everyone is welcome to attend this free event that will take place at the Woodland Hills Branch Library on Saturday, November 5th at 3 p.m. For more information and details, visit lapl.org/events. Attention baseball superfans! The Los Angeles Central Library will be holding the Baseball Reliquary Shrine of the Eternals annual event. This awards and induction ceremony, known as the People's Hall of Fame, will have a special memorial tribute for the reliquary founder, Terry Cannon. It will also feature notable enshrinees like Bob Costas, Andrew Rube Foster, and the Clown Prince of Baseball, Max Patkin. Adults are welcome to attend this free ceremony that will also offer a reception with music and refreshments afterwards. This event will take place at the Mark Taper Auditorium at the Central Library on Saturday, November 5th at 2 p.m. For more details about this event, visit lapl.org/events. Have you ever wondered what a total lunar eclipse looks like up close? A lunar eclipse, which occurs when the moon passes directly into the dark inner shadow cast by the Earth, will happen on Tuesday, November 8th. It will be visible from anywhere in Southern California. The Griffith Observatory will be hosting a live online broadcast from the start of the eclipse at around midnight until its completion at around 6 a.m. Even though telescopes or binoculars can make the experience more worthwhile, experts indicate that it will be visible to the unaided eye. The live online broadcast will be taking place via the website griffithobservatory.org/event on Tuesday, November 8th from 12 a.m. until 6 a.m. Please note that the park will be closed during the eclipse, so make sure to catch it online or in your backyard. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitywiew.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. I'm Paul Krikorian, President of the City Council, and we're ready to begin today's meeting. There are 3 members of the public who are standing in the aisle disrupting the meeting by shouting, and I'm going to ask them to please be seated so that the meeting can proceed. Okay, sir, I'd like to ask you to please be seated so that we can proceed with the meeting. I'm going to give you a second warning today to please take a seat so that we can begin the meeting. Okay, the 2 people who are standing in the aisle and yelling, I'm now going to give you a third warning. Pursuant to Council Rule 12, you are actually disrupting the meeting. If the disruption does not stop immediately, I'll order you removed from the room. Sir, you're going to need to take a seat now. I've warned you 3 times. Please take a seat. All right. Okay, you've been warned 3 times. I'm going to do my best, but if you continue to disrupt the meeting, I'm going to have to ask that you be removed from the council chambers. Okay, thank you. I'd ask that you please be seated so we can begin. Okay, Mr. Clerk, as permitted under Assembly Bill 361, public comment can be taken via teleconference. We will be doing that as well as taking comment in person. Please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, absent. De Leon, absent. Harris-Dawson, Hutt, Koretz, absent. Krikorian, Lee, absent. O'Farrell, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, 10 members in the quorum, Mr. President.
All right. We have a quorum. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes of November 1st, 2022.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've warned you 3 times. The people in the center aisle and whoever is blowing the whistle are excluded from the meeting. I'm going to ask the sergeants to please escort them to the door. I'm sorry, we can't have this disruption of the meeting. You're going to need to leave the meeting. And whoever is blowing the whistle as well, please, they need to be removed from the meeting. I've asked you respectfully, sir, and I need to commence with the meeting. All right, let's proceed with approval of the minutes of November 1st, 2022. Councilmember Hutt moves. Councilmember Bonin seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Councilmember O'Farrell moves. Councilmember Buscaino seconds. Next.
Mr. President, there's a request to continue items 9 through 17 to Friday, November 4th, 2022. There's also a request to hold item 21 on the desk.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk. I'm sorry. I still can't hear you because of the shouting in the center aisle. So we're going to wait just another minute. wait just another minute so that we can hear each other. All right, again, Mr. Clerk, can we please run through the agenda?
Yes, Mr. President. There is a request to continue items 9 through 17 to Friday, November 4th, 2022. There is also a request to hold item 21 on the desk.
Without objection, that'll be the order. Unfortunately, now there are 2 more people standing in the aisle shouting. I'm warning everyone in the audience now, as I did a moment ago, that the meeting will not be disrupted. So anyone standing and shouting or otherwise making noise and actually disrupting this council meeting is subject to removal. So please have a seat. Please have a seat and be silent. That's, I think, more than enough warnings. So please take your seat or you'll be removed.
And if I can, Mr. President, I would remind these protesters if they were kicked out within the last 3 business days, they'd be subject to exclusion per Rule 7 that's posted in the back of the room. So they're on notice of that.
I'm sorry, Mr. City Attorney, I couldn't hear you over the shouting. Could you please repeat what you just said?
Yes. So if any of the people who are ordered removed were ordered removed within the last 3 business days, they will be subject to exclusion at the next business meeting per Rule 7, which is posted in the back of the room and which I'm informing them of right now. So
Yes,
they should know the consequences of what they're doing.
Thank you. So if the disruption does not stop immediately, I'll order those who are shouting to be removed from the council chambers for causing that disruption, and they'll be subject to Council Rule 7. Go ahead and, sergeants, if you could, remove those who are shouting in the center aisle. All right, Mr. Clerk, we continue, I'm sorry, I've lost track now. We continued items 9 through 17 to Friday, November 4th.
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
And there's also a request to hold item 21 on the desk.
Okay, very good. So what's next before us?
If there are no objections, we will proceed to items. Items 1 through 8 are items for which public hearings have been held. A Planning and Land Use Management Committee report for item 7 has
Mr. Clerk, I can't hear you, so those who are causing the actual disruption in the aisle right now have been warned. They'll be removed right now, and they'll be subject to Council Rule 7 if they don't immediately sit down and be silent. All right, they're not complying with my instructions. Sergeants, please remove those people from the room. And they'll be subject to Council Rule 7. Sergeants, please remove the people who are disrupting this meeting by shouting in the center aisle. And the meeting still cannot proceed because of the shouting in the center aisle. And just for the record, not only is there shouting, but again, there's noisemakers being used to distract the council from its business.
A cowbell.
There are
to
no
be exact.
noisemakers allowed in city council chambers ever. So
I assume the mics are catching all of this, but it's loud enough that I can barely hear what you're saying, Mr. President, and you're, 5 feet from me. I assume the mics are catching this, but in case not, it's still extremely loud. And Mr. Reedy and others are walking backwards very slowly.
So as the shouting continues in the back of the room and the council meeting continues to be disrupted, I'm going to say this for everyone else who's waiting in the audience. There will be no disruptions of this council. Any shouting, any noise that actually disrupts this meeting will make you subject to removal and the application of Council Rule 7. So with that, Mr. Clerk, where are we, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Items 1 through 8 are items for which public hearings have been held. A Planning and Land Use Management Committee report has been submitted for item 7 and posted to council file number 22-0535-S1. Items 18 through 21 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Items 22 through 31 are closed session items for which public hearings have been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Without objection, those items are now before us. Do members have any items that they'd like to call special? Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the city attorney to read my amendment for item 21.
Of course. So it's the motion is to amend the item to add the following addition to the motion's instructions. So the two additions are: 1, instruct the city attorney to report on whether threats and intimidation to duly elected council members qualifies as a permitted absence, and 2, instruct the city attorney to report on the consequences of censured members not being allowed to participate in council and committee meetings. And I believe it's seconded by Mr. Buscaino, if he can confirm. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Any other specials? Mr. Buscaino.
If I can, Mr. President, on item 22 for no vote, that's a closed session item. Thank you.
Okay, so separate vote on item 22. Any other specials, members? All right. Mr. Clerk, do we have any cards?
Yes, Mr. President. There are cards on items 18 and 22 through 31.
All right. So are there items before us that have not been called special that we're able to vote on at this point?
The council may now vote on items 1 through 8.
Okay, those items are now before us. Let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes. And for the record, Mr. President, ordinances for items 6 and 8 will be held over for 1 week to Wednesday, November 9th, 2022 for second consideration, unless reconsidered with 12 members present.
All right. And we can move on now to the closed session items. Items 23 through, items 22 through 31 are all routine settlements. Budget and Finance recommended approval of the City Attorney's recommendations. We're going to take a separate vote on item 22, and then unless members have questions or concerns about any of these matters, they can be taken up in open session. Are there any questions or concerns about any of the closed session items other than Mr. Buscaino's call for a separate vote? Okay, then let's go ahead and open the roll on item 22.
If I may, Mr. President,
Yes.
in the case entitled Trinidad Barragan versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $975,000 in settlement for item 22.
Very good, thank you. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the votes.
9 ayes, 1 no.
Very good. If you could then go ahead and read out the settlements for items 23 through 31.
Yes, Mr. President. For item 23, in the case entitled Jason Kong versus Lyft Incorporated, a Delaware corporation et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $500,000 in settlement. Item 24, in the case entitled Arpit Kachatourian versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $400,000 in settlement. Item 25, in the case entitled Evangeline Morse versus California Department of Transportation et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $250,000 in settlement. For item 26, in the case entitled Elizabeth Villalobos Perez versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $155,000 in settlement. For item 27, in the case entitled Karen Gorman versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $2 million in settlement. For item 28, in the case entitled Harrell Raz versus County of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $750,000 in settlement. For item 29, in the case entitled Maria Garcia versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $700,000 in settlement. For item 30, in the case entitled Savannah Tavusian versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $150,000 in settlement. For item 31, in the case entitled Gloria Quevedo versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $150,000 in settlement.
Thank you. Those items are now before us. Please open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
All right. Mr. Clerk, are we prepared then to go to public comment?
Yes, Mr. President, that takes council to public comment.
All right. Please, for the members of the public, please note that today's meeting includes a call-in option as well as the option of providing public comment here in person in council chambers. Mr. Clerk, would you also please read out the call-in information which was also provided on the agenda today?
As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute. Let me repeat. Call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. City Attorney, could you please explain the speaking rules to members of the public who are calling in to speak and those who are here in person?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So members of the public calling in or at the podium, when it's your turn to speak, please state which of the agenda items you'd like to speak on. You have 1 minute per item to speak, up to 3 minutes total, and if you wish 1 minute for general public comment, please speak to the items before beginning general public comment. We'll tell you when your time's up. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not on topic, or if we can't tell whether you're on topic, you'll get one brief warning from me or the president. At that point, you need to get immediately clearly on topic. If you don't, or you again stray off topic, you will unfortunately forfeit the rest of your speaking time, and we'll move on to the next speaker. The items that are open for public comment are items 9 through 21. That is 9 through 21. You can speak about anything else within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city in general public comment. For members of the public calling in, as you were told, when it's your turn in automated Zoom voice, we'll prompt you to press *6 to unmute yourself. If you don't do so, council staff will ask you once more to do so. At that point, you need to press *6 right away. If you don't, unfortunately, you'll forfeit your speaking time, and we'll move on to the next speaker. Finally, for people listening in, providing comment over the phone, we understand that you may be listening on multiple devices, but when it's your turn to speak, please turn down the volume on the other devices right away. Because of a slight time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast and feedback, it really causes a great deal of confusion if you're listening on multiple devices. Also, please keep one ear to the phone. Because of the time delay, we want you to hear right away when it's your turn to press *6 and unmute yourself. If you don't, because of the time delay, you could end up missing your turn. So with that, Mr. President, we are ready to begin public comment.
Thank you very much. We'll first take the commenters who are here in chambers, starting with Arnold Sachs, followed by Andrew Grabner.
So, Mr. Sachs, which items would you like to speak on?
Oh, I was speaking on, I signed up for items 12, 13, 18, and I was going to speak on the closed session items, but
Well, you can talk about those in closed. So we'll set the clock for 3 minutes for those 3 items you listed, and then a minute for general. So please begin.
Okay. All right, so item 12 refers to vet care or veterinarian care. And it's the language.
Oh, actually, sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Sachs. We continued items 9 through 17. That's my fault. So the items that are open are, my apologies to everybody, are 18 through 21. So do you want to speak on 3?
You continued those items. That's why. Okay, so 18 refers to a special election. So I'm presenting some items to the clerk here. This is a voting solution for all these people. But it's got this R right here. There's a small R right here. And this return ballot's got a small R right here too. I see them all the time in newspaper articles. So I'm wondering what they are. And the best conclusion I can come to is they are Ridley, which means Mark Ridley Thomas.
Mr. Sachs, that has nothing to do with the 6th
We're having a special election.
Get on topic or move to your general public comment.
Having a special election. I'm concerned about the ballot.
So could you connect it up clearly with the item then, Mr. Sachs?
A special election. You're going to use ballots. I'm concerned about the ballots. That's why I want to give these to the Sergeant at Arms to turn into the city attorney.
Okay, so thank you. You can go into the next item.
Okay, so the other item is about the closed session, which...
So that would be general. So we'll put you in general public comment.
So I guess, okay. So I'm wondering, I saw an item for the legal aid yesterday, in yesterday's meeting. So I'm wondering why the legal aid didn't show up for the KKK that met in city council chambers. Why not? You'd think they would be here and say, that's pretty racist. Well, I guess they didn't think it was racist enough. I'm concerned. I went to a meeting earlier this year in Carson, and the topic of the meeting was Back to the Future, and they had a question mark right in the middle. So they gave you public comment, and I went up and I spoke. And I asked, why would they put a question mark right in the middle? And then I asked a question about the guy who, I didn't mention any names, I just said, are they going to do something about the guy who took the $640 million out of the city and used it to build a stadium in Carson? And after the meeting, a lot of people came up to me and said, you go after Mark Ridley Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sachs.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Andrew Grabner, Mr. Sachs, please take a seat silently so that we can proceed with our meeting. Our next speaker is Andrew Graebner, followed by Antonio Ballesteros.
All right, which items would you like to speak on?
1 minute of general public comment.
Great. You have a minute.
All right, so we even have a quorum right now? Like, is this meeting even supposed to be happening with even, legally, technically right now? Because, you need 8 members. I'm not entirely sure. But this is an illegitimate council. This is an illegitimate body. Paul Kokorian, you're an illegitimate fascist president who's literally just trying to cut people off and kick people out for, attending their own city council meeting. So, we could look at, but yeah, why aren't you breaking the quorum? The people are clearly saying no resignations, no meetings. So maybe you should actually start listening to the people instead of, just not even attending, instead of just showing up. I wasn't even going to give public comment, but, here I am, and you're still not even listening. Just walk out. Break the quorum.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Antonio Ballesteros, followed by Michelle Hope Walker. Is Mr. Ballesteros here? All right, we can go next then to Michelle Hope Walker, followed by Rita Ortiz.
Okay.
Hi, which items did you want to speak on?
I'm doing number 21 and public speaking.
Sure, so you have a minute for each, so please
Okay.
begin.
All right. I'm Michelle Hope Walker. Okay. So my concern about 21, which I do like, that it seems like you all are moving forward on some type of effort on getting Gil and Kevin out. I like that part, but I'm concerned of if they are doing things outside of the public that we can't see but still working. Because if they're still working, then they're able to bypass these number of days that are given, if they could still show something. So again, just concerned on how are you all stopping them from just doing their work, period. Can you stop them from doing their work, period? Just, very concerned, because again, like I said, racism, like everyone is talking about, like all the other speakers are talking about, and sometimes, I just look at, if we could put as much, well, I won't say we because I'm not doing it, but if you all could put as much effort in getting Gil and Kevin out as you do in getting the people out, that would really help. So again, just concerned on, are there ways that Kevin and Gil can still bypass that 60 days, but I do like that you all are doing that.
Okay, you go into general.
Okay.
You have a minute.
Public, okay. So, public comment, again, I just pray. I pray for all of you all. I understand that decision-making can be challenging. I do understand where they're saying break quorum, because we need to put as much pressure on Gil and Kevin as much as possible. So we're asking the council to, they're asking the council to do, as much as they can. All of us have different ways of how to do this, but, I can say that I support, that's one of the ways, and that is if you all not attend, that puts pressure on Gil and Kevin to have to, resign, because we're not having meetings. And I understand the other side, but we got to keep moving forward. I understand that too, but I feel like business will still keep moving forward, even if you all do not, because it's sort of like the things you all do when someone's missing, like Nuri, business is still moving forward until we get somebody else in, so I think that'd make a big statement. So again, just praying, Kevin and Gil, we need you gone, resign for your racist statements and actions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Rita Ortiz. And
Hi.
that's all the cards that I have of speakers who are here in chambers.
Which
Buenos
items did you-
días. Aquí estoy porque el Distrito 5 nunca me ayudó por más de 3 años. El 2019 he estado atacada por un crimen de odio por parte de mis vecinos.
Momentito para traducir, por favor.
Hello. Bueno.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Siga, señora.
Sí, buenos días.
Good morning.
Please start your
El
time over
Distrito
so she can start
5
from the beginning.
nunca me ayudó con un crimen de
District
odio
never helped me with a hate crime
que tengo por parte de 8 vecinos.
from 8 neighbors of mine.
Tengo 12 police report en contra de
I
ellos
have 2
por
police reports
traspase,
against them for trespassing,
por vandalizar mi casa,
for vandalism in my
difamarme,
house, and
robar
calling
mi correo.
to steal my mail.
Y quisiera saber.
If I can ask our interpreter, we don't need simultaneous translation, please, because it's very hard to understand that, and we need to monitor the time. So if you could please let her pause
Señora.
and then translate for us, that would be helpful.
Si habla en pausitas porque no le puedo interpretar simultáneamente, por favor. Parte por parte.
Sí, estoy aquí
I
porque
am here.
el Distrito 5
I am here because District 5
no me ha ayudado con el crimen de odio
has not helped me with my hate crime
en contra de mí, una mamá soltera latina y
Again.
una menor.
against me being a single mother with a minor.
He reportado el accidente bastantes veces, he ido a su oficina, he llamado, me ignoran y no me contestan las llamadas.
I have reported this a few times to the office. They ignore me and they don't answer my calls.
Tengo 12 police report en contra de los vecinos
I have 2 police reports against my neighbors
por traspasar, destruir mi propiedad,
for trespassing and destroying my property,
intimidarme,
intimidating me,
robar mi correo,
steal my mail,
destruir y traspasar y robar, y falsificar firmas.
destroy, trespassing and falsify my signatures.
La mayoría de los concejales aquí me conocen, yo soy mamá soltera y soy honesta, profesional
Most of the
y
council
siempre ayudo a la gente.
Most of the council members here know me. I am honest, I'm professional, and I'm always helping people.
Y me sacaron en noviembre 8 de 2019 porque la policía no me ayudó a parar este crimen de odio y seguir los police report que yo había reportado para que pararan.
And they kicked me out because they didn't help me with the hate crimes, and they didn't help me to pay. I was getting behind.
Tengo aquí todos los reportes que he hablado con sargentos para que me ayuden.
I talked to the sergeants about all my reports for them to help me.
Y me dijeron que para poder que me ayudaran a regresar a mi casa tenía que demandar a los vecinos. Ya lo hice.
And for me to be able to go back to my house, I would have to sue my neighbors, which I already did.
Pero los abogados son intimidados por los vecinos, me roban mi dinero y no me quieren ayudar.
But the attorneys are intimidated by the neighbors. They steal my money and they don't want to help me.
Thank you. Gracias.
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 Señora, espérase un momentito, pudimos tratar de ayudarse. All right, and that, gracias.
Thank you.
That's the final speaker that we have here in chambers. Let's go, please, to public commenters on the phone. First caller, please.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
I'd like to speak on all available items and general public comment, please.
So you have 3 minutes for items 18 through 21, followed by a minute for general. Please stay on topic.
9 through 17 is on the agenda.
Actually,
I can speak on.
Speaker, I think I may have misstated earlier on. 9 through 17 were continued. You can talk about them in general if you want, but for the timed items, it's 18 through 21. So do you want to speak on items 18 through 21?
Isn't that what I just said? All available items and general public comment?
Fine. So you have 3 minutes for items 18 through 21. Please begin. I'll let you know when we move on to general.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you. 18, special election for CV6 to replace incompetent, corrupt Martinez. But the question is why? To get just another corrupt council member? Public system is is what we need to change, the system. Otherwise, we'll be looking at 500,000 homeless in the next 5 years. Doubling the city council, we just get double the people, double the corruption at twice the price. Meanwhile, these corrupt people, and all of them, they get their same salary. Why have a special election at all if we're just going to get another corrupt LA sleazy council person? Krikorian, the city council business is corruption. This has been proven over and over. Why have a special election if we're not going to change the system, public? We need to change the system entirely. Number 19, Corette's 100-year Rose Bowl celebration, great, versus the black community's 20-year Afiba Center eviction, which every one of these corrupt bastards sat there and voted for.
Could we
I'm talking about the Rose Bowl.
No, you really
I'm making a correlation.
You really
Number
weren't.
20. Number 20, corrupt council person, $355,000 for street improvements, whereas the African marketplace gets zero. The resources of this city, $355,000 for the streets. But the black community can't get representation for street vendors, barely holding on. The hand-picked Heather Hutt, queen of the 4118s. All right, fine. More special elections, more corruption, more Rose Bowl celebration, but the people go down to dirt. That's why they're out there screaming and yelling. For no other reason. The people are sick and tired of this corrupt, inept, incompetent, self-serving, sleazy council. I'll go on to my,
Yes.
I guess I'll go on to my,
Yes, thank
thank you. 9 through 17 is 9 items for animals, animal issues. God bless the animals. We need them, of course. But these sociopaths are torturing, evicting human beings. Queen of the 4118, Heather Hutt, handpicked by Martinez and Cedillo, are throwing, and Buscayenas are throwing people from underpasses. Where are the pimp preachers and Tavis Smiley today to raise their outrage of the 70,000 homeless people, the 3 to 8 dying every day? Where are they? I guess we'll bring them back to talk about Mark Ridley Thomas's paycheck. Meanwhile, we give sleazy Marquise Dawson, this corrupt council, over $10 million public for luxury offices. The Fame Building, take the EDD, 5462 Crenshaw with 8.4.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
State the items you'd like to speak on.
Morning, Fable.
Hi,
Thank
which
you,
items
back
do
in
you
the
want to speak
chair.
on? Oh, sorry, say
Can
that
I
again.
speak on item 18 and general public comment, and please make sure I get those full 2 minutes. Don't
Sure.
get cut off
So
again.
you get a minute for 18, and then I'll let you know when we go into general. So please begin.
Thank you. And I get the urgent need to fill this seat, but shouldn't we be offering an extra month for campaigning here? This primary has a 5-month runway. An extra month would offer flexibility to align a CD10 primary on the same date, depending on the outcome of the MRT trial. A 5-month campaign window is extremely small and favors establishment candidates who can raise money at the drop of a hat. Candidates will have a month to fundraise before they have to start gathering signatures. There was already a clear need to amend our ballot qualification law to lower the signature threshold to something reasonable, and I think that's something that you should consider doing ASAP. given that we have some special elections coming up and they have even less time to gather signatures. And I want to talk about yesterday's vote to resurrect Councilmember Rue's campaign stunt of a motion to create an Office of Anti-Corruption and Transparency. We have an ethics commission. Let's focus on fixing that. Creating a new office for the wide
You can go
mandate that
into a
overlaps
general
with
if you
ethics
wish.
makes no sense. Thank you. City employees and the public must know exactly where complaints must be filed, and we need to ensure those responding are working in coordination, not hoarding info and operating in silos. If you people actually cared about getting a usable motion back with worthwhile recommendations, you would amend that to ask for specific proposals on creating an inspector general for planning and finding a way to bridge the gap between planning and ethics by getting an IG on the ground in the former while bringing it under the authority of the latter. Instead, Councilmember Koretz somehow actually made the whole thing worse by expanding the scope of the proposed coverage. This is kind of exactly what Councilmember Rodriguez was talking about with the impropriety of you drawing up regulations to regulate yourself, especially in a campaign climate. Lastly, on a side note, Councilmember O'Farrell used to be really mad at Paul Koretz. After noticing his failure to file hundreds of thousands of domestic payments, I realized you made the exact same mistake. And unlike his, yours is within the statute of limitations. Have a great day.
Mr. Kwan, are you there? I think we've lost you, but there was only a second left, so we'll go on to the next speaker.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, 18, 19, 20, and general public comment.
Great. So you've got 3 minutes for items 18, 19, and 20, and then followed by a minute for general. So please begin.
Hi, my name is Jordan. My pronouns are she or her, they, them, and I live in District 5. On item 18, yes, I support the special election as soon as possible. The people of District 6 need representation, and I sincerely hope that the SA member runs and wins there. On item 19, Rose Bowl, we've got a freaking homelessness crisis in this city. Why are we throwing money towards the Rose Bowl, a bread and circuses bullshit, which is not even within the borders of the city of Los Angeles? And I know fuckhead Fauble would know that because Pasadena is not part of Los Angeles. Number 20, fuck these like business or street improvement or whatever the fuck it is. Now on to my general, fuckhead Fauble.
Go ahead, you have a minute.
All right. There's a reason why people are protesting in chambers, and there's a reason why these meetings are being disrupted. It's because fucking Cedillo and fucking De Leon won't step down. And also, fuck you, Koretz. You don't care about animal welfare, whether it's human animals or non-human animals. And fuck John Lee too, that fucking Republican. And also, fuck Heather Hutt. She's illegitimate. And fuck Joey Buckets as well. My grandparents fled Italy because of fucking monsters like Buscaino, who's the council's Mussolini, and I wouldn't be sad at all if he was hung upside down at a gas station. Lick my cunt and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Okay, next speaker.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello, it's Eric
Hi.
Previn. I'll speak on all items and
Sure.
a general public comment.
So you have 3 minutes for items 18, 19, and 20, and 21, followed by a minute for general. So please begin.
But what about the continued items? There's no reason that they have to be discussed in public comment, which
So,
yet my
but
general
you can
comment
talk about
was-
them in general if you wish. So start with 18
No,
through
but
21.
that's I would like to not do that. I'm going to speak on the other items in the item period, the 3 minutes, and then I'll speak on the general public comment in the general public comment period.
Begin.
Yeah, I'm already beginning. This is my process. Okay, it takes me a minute, Fauble. I know you're Mr. Wham Bam, thank you, but it's not. It's not easy. Okay, it takes a lot of work. You have to get the agenda ready. You have to remember what the hell's on this agenda because it's been such a loopy conversation, a good conversation. It's important. And I think that I'll get to the closed session items in my general. And I just want to say that the vacancy stuff, item 21, is that on the agenda still?
So, Mr. President, could we just stick to 18 through 21? Just start up on
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
clock is
trying to
running
say,
for you.
21. All right, let's do it. First of all, I want to just commemorate, join Koretz and Lee in commemorating the 100-year celebration of the Rose Bowl. What could be more of a racist institution than the history of the great rivalries between the big universities and all of the exclusion. And by the way, just a little bit of shame for all the Bruins in the house and the Trojans, because what a disgusting group to have, in the 100-year celebration of the Rose Bowl, to have left the Pac-10 in the most venal, disgusting way for money, for a few millions of dollars, which is just disgusting because we've given so many benefits to so many billionaires at UCLA and even the old public health guy, John.
Stick with the items.
Yeah, I'm on the 100-year celebration of the Rose Bowl, Fable. I know you love the place.
Not
too.
really.
They have an antique market too. Well, they do. They have an antique market, and that's part of the Rose Bowl. And don't try to veer me off subject. It's not appropriate. I am on topic. I'm on topic. And item 20 is Council District 5, where Yaroslavsky's daughter-in-law is going to take over, very likely. And she knows exactly where the street improvements need to be taken care of in Century City. I can tell you that right now. She's she's boots on the ground. She was working over at Kuhl's office. These Yaroslavskys do not play, okay? They do not play, Fable. And it's good to have you back, by the way. Item number 19, I got to be honest with you, or the special election, there's such a dirty and disgusting series of chapters about special elections at City Hall, starting with Fuentes, who abdicated his little throne, and Herb Wesson said, I'll take over CD7. There's no need to disrupt Caro and Monica Rodriguez having a $500,000 each battle underwritten by Englander, Kanabi, and Allen, and all the other little helpful special electioneers. But when we shifted over to Englander, and Englander deciding to leave to be a lobbyist and indictee, then we quickly put a special election on the docket so that we could run another $1 million.
So you can go into general, Mr. Previn. Go ahead. You have a minute.
All right. In general, I just want to, and you could put your nose on this one, Fable. One of the legal settlements was $2 million. It's item 27, Karen Gorham. When I looked at it, the judge disclosed that he'd been giving money to Fuhr. Now, who cares? He gave him $100 in 2012. But when you look closely, so many of these attorneys are giving money to Krikorian. And that's where I'm really calling for a referendum on Krikorian doing everything. He is now in charge of shoveling the people in and out of the hall. He cannot be bothered with all the dirty inside legal fighting and cutting checks to his friends. That has to be delegated at this time, okay? The claims board is comprised of three: a mayor designee, a city attorney designee, and a council president designee. Krikorian has been doing it for the council president, so we lose another set of eyes if we have him do it for himself. He needs to step down from budget and finance, step down from all of his committees, and just be in charge of handling the public comment. And he should handle them physically. He should go out there and
Thank you, Mr. Previn.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, general public comment, please.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
The poison of hate has no place anywhere, and the rise in anti-Semitism in so many places, including Los Angeles, is deeply disturbing. That's a quote from Councilmember Mitchell Farrell from last week. It is better to live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep. That's a tweet from Donald J. Trump and a direct quote of Benito Mussolini's. We all saw the disgusting displays of anti-Semitism on our streets last weekend, and yet I'm not surprised when the cities refuse to take simple action at its disposal to condemn hate. It's unsettling that only two council members, Mike Bonin and Bob Blumenfield, have publicly supported the removal of Donald Trump's name from the Walk of Fame after an attempted coup against the United States. Councilmember O'Farrell's office lies about his ability to act, contradicting the State Office of Historic Preservation, LA City ordinances overseeing the Walk of Fame, and long-standing legal precedent concerning government speech. It's an embarrassment, and your inability to act in the least of your capabilities to check hate is not only embarrassing, but it emboldens extremists. Kevin DeLeon, Gil Cedillo resigned today. And I also want to end with the fact that Paul Corrette's ignoring that woman
Thank you.
who will let...
Thank you, Speaker.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on. Caller ending in 5554, please press *6 to unmute.
Hello?
Hi, which
Hello?
items would you like to speak on?
Sean Murphy from Canoga Park.
Hi, Sean.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm all right. Which item?
I am 18 and sharing public comment.
Absolutely. So you have a minute for each, Sean. Please begin.
Item 18 is the Rose Bowl, 100th anniversary of the Rose Bowl. Congratulations on that. I'm going into general public comment.
Okay.
I want to thank Mark Quees, Harris Dawson, Heather Hunt. I went to the Taste of Soul. I had a good time. Listen to gospel music. I had to. I am ashamed of my city the way it's be acting. Why don't you get rid? Why don't the protesters leave when they're supposed to leave? I mean, come on, give me a break. I mean, I'm sick and tired of this. Kevin when Kevin De Leon's in council chambers, I'm gonna make cat noises and dog noises. They should resign. And I'm glad Nuri's gone. I tore up her picture. I don't have it in the house anymore. That's it, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Yes, can you hear me?
We sure can. Which items would you like to speak on?
All items, including 18 and public comment, please.
Sure. So you have 3 minutes for items 18 through 21, followed by a minute for general. Please begin.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez Bobble. You're still there. You're still there, unbelievable. All right, let's go on to the vacancy for the 6th district. Wanted, we need to find another Inardi Bernardi. Who was Inardi Bernardi? He represented the 6th district in Van Nuys for over 32 years with honor, with grace. That man was uncorruptible. He was one of the finest city councilmen that's ever served this great city. We cannot allow the political machine that brought us the last 2 representatives out of the 6th district. That political machine cannot do it a 3rd time. So I'm asking the people of the 6th district, please, for the first time, look into your hearts and say, who's the best person to serve my community, to serve this great city? And I think we can find a really good, honest person out of the 6th district. But, I don't see Martinez. Oh, wait a minute. There's Martinez. Mr. Bobble. Is that Martinez Bobble? Who is that? Until you folks deal with this issue, the crimes were committed. Ms. Martinez has paid. We forgive her. Well, let's move on. But Mr. Bobble, what was your part in that? What was your part? And there you sit. You are the cancer seed that is still in the city council, and as these other people surround you,
items, Speaker?
It does no good because of the fact that you're the cancer seed that sits on that horseshoe.
Let's stick to the
Public
items,
comment
Speaker.
now.
You can give me a hard time all you want in general.
Sir, you're not supposed to respond to me. You're not supposed to respond to me, sir. Please, let's follow, Robert's rules or whatever it is. Please,
Okay, so let's give you a minute for general public comment, and you can.
Thank you,
do what you
Mr. Martinez Bobble. I've been a lifetime Republican, and I've never been so ashamed of it because I'm an Abraham Lincoln Republican. But what happened to Mr. Pelosi and to Mrs. Pelosi's family, it sickens me because I know now truly what kind of people the Republicans, most of them are now. They don't give a damn about this country. They want power, and they want to keep the power that has been in this country, the racist power that's been in this country for, the 240-something years. But you know what, folks, and to my Jewish brothers and sisters, this should prove to you that you can never leave your defenses down. You have to be prepared because what happened in the 30s and 40s is knocking on our door. And as a Native American, I will stand by you, and I will support you, and I will defend you. But we have to stand together, and we have to call this out. And to those Republicans who are listening.
Thank you, Speaker.
Next caller, please.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, Tetra Minsky, District 14, item 18, in general comment.
Sure. So I think you said 18 in general public comment, so that's a minute for each. Please begin.
Correct. As far as 18 goes, I agree with the previous caller in terms of scheduling more time for the special election. Every city council member here has said how shocked and disappointed they were when they heard the tapes, which eventually led to Ms. Martinez resigning. Yet every city council member here is ready to replace Nuri with another established politician before KDL and Cedillo are even out the door. Calling for a special election within 5 months is another effort to continue what we all know the city council's business is as usual, the racist disenfranchisement of its most vulnerable residents. For general, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. City Council President, your smugness that you continue to address members of the public as well as the protesters that show up show that you do not take their cries seriously. You continue to press that business as usual must be attended to while KDL and Cedillo stay on payroll, while you continue to rubber stamp whatever comes through these chambers. This sentiment is echoed by how little each of these city council members pays attention to the public comments. I would show up to participate, but I don't want to be ignored to my face while I'm giving public comment. Again, I'm discouraged. I'm calling on KDL and Cedillo to resign immediately. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi, which items would you like to speak on?
Yeah, general comment.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
I'd like to speak on the issue of District 14. Only the voters in District 14 could get rid of De Leon. You have no right to take away our voices. And as far as taking the funding, the discretionary funding, you are doing exactly what the Nazis did to the Jews. But CD14 will not allow it. We have people who need the money for Thanksgiving turkeys. We need the money for our Christmas holiday for the kids. Do not touch the discretionary fund. Mr. Bonham, I am talking. Mr. Bonham. Listen to us. We are the taxpayers. We pay for your salary. When my daughter was 8, she was African American, we were dragged to court by a white neighbor who said we had kidnapped a black little girl. You have no idea, Mr. Bono.
Thank you very much.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, which items did you want to speak on, speaker?
I wanted to make a general public comment.
Oh,
please.
absolutely. So you have a minute. Please begin.
Thank you. So on October 25th, I called into the Board of Animal Services Commission and reported that the application for volunteers for LA Animal Services discriminated against the citizens of the city of Los Angeles. Later on that day, the application was taken off. It included wording that said, I understand that any communications, verbal or written, will be cause for disqualification, rejection, and removal from the volunteer program at any stage of the application or thereafter. It also states that they're very selective on their applicants, on who they pick. LA Animal Services does not give the reason why you're denied your application, which basically means you can be denied because of race, your age, gender, sexual orientation, political party, and this is crazy. So they had changed the application, but they did not change their thinking. They are constantly going and retaliating against volunteers right now, and Annette Ramirez and Juan Rivera should be...
Thank you, Speaker.
Next caller, please.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
General public comment.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
All right, so this is Jason Reedy, and I'm calling in since City Attorney Falvey name dropped me today, saying that I was one of the disruptors.
You said, and I quote, Mr. Reedy and others are walking backwards very slowly. For the record, I was not in attendance today, and I know you think that all black and brown people look alike, but I would still like you to apologize for this racist bullshit. So would you like to do that right now, Fable? You mistook me for someone in the crowd who was black or brown and yelling. And so I would like for you to apologize in this moment because you are a fucking racist. Would you like to apologize? How many times have you made this mistake as an attorney? How many times has the LAPD done this? So again, this case of mistaken identity is going to cause for me to be kept out of chambers on Friday. So would you like to apologize, yes or no? You're quiet. Would you like to apologize? Again, you're a coward. I was not in attendance
Thank you,
today.
Speaker. Next speaker.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi. Are you there, Speaker?
I am now.
Which items would you like to speak on?
I'm going to have to say pretty much all items and general public comment. And please let me know when it's time for general public comment.
So, so if you want to speak on the items, it would be items 18 through 21. If you want to talk about other stuff, it would be general public comment. So, not sure what you want to talk on.
Yeah. I'm just saying I'm going to do all items and just let me know when I'm moving on to general public comment.
Okay, so let's start the clock for 3 minutes, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. Hi. Good morning, council members. I just find it really interesting that we talk about homelessness, we talk about helping people, but referencing item number, which item is the one? Okay, item number 19. We have people dying on the streets every single day, but now when you want to talk about funding services in connection with the stupid Rose Bowl, it's like, come on now. We have people dying on the streets every single day in the city of Los Angeles, but you guys cannot afford to resolve the homeless problem, but you guys want to fund the Rose Bowl. That's bull crap. We have people dying on the streets. And item number 20, yes, we do need street improvement, and we do like to see the sidewalks and the lights being fixed, especially nowadays when we have theft going on. We've had thieves stealing the copper from the street lights, and then residents have to live on the street, on a dark street, which is unacceptable. And I like to move on to general public comment now.
Absolutely. So you have a minute for general. Please begin.
Please, yes. So I would like public comment to be available for everyone instead of putting a limit on 30 minutes of public comment, because you have to understand there's millions of people that are living in the city of Los Angeles, and their voice must be heard. Putting a limit on public comment is unacceptable because you're just shutting everybody else out from speaking. And we're the taxpayers, and we pay your salaries, and I just want you to understand that, because otherwise, this is why people are leaving Los Angeles. They're going to other neighboring cities to do business and spend their money at. So I just hope you guys think about your salaries and think about the businesses in the city of Los Angeles. And that's about it.
Thank you for your comments.
Next speaker, please.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello?
which items would you like to speak on?
Hello. Item 19 and I have a public comment.
Sure. So we'll give you a minute for item 19 and then a minute for general. So start with item 19 and you have a minute. Please begin.
My name is Riley Davidson. I'm in District 10. I go to the Rose Bowl Parade every year. I go to the game, but I am not in favor of money being spent on the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, which is not the city of Los Angeles. I'm very loyal to the Rose Bowl festivities, but I live in Los Angeles and I see homeless people dying on the street, sick, unable to walk, children who are homeless. I think we need to rethink what we do outside of the city of Los Angeles. That's my number 19 item. Now for my
Sure.
public comment.
Yep. Very good. You have a minute. So for general, please begin.
The city council took quick action to condemn anti-Semitism, but you cannot take action to do the ethical thing of removing Cedillo and De Leon. Each person, such as the mayor of Beverly Hills, who condemns Ye because he says that he wants to make things right, and she says she's the daughter of a Holocaust survivor, proves the point that Ye is making. It took the mayor of Beverly Hills one generation to amass her wealth, whereas fourth generation slavery survivors have yet to get the opportunity to build wealth. Redistricting is not the only problem in this city, but I can point out that redistricting gave Jan Perry's downtown LA to Jose Huizar, who was the head of a criminal enterprise while he sat on the city council and was repeatedly.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. So our next speaker.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm calling on general public comment.
Sure. You have a minute. Please begin.
I want to echo everything that last caller said. I'm also calling in from CD10, the district that was shit talked about on those horrible tapes. We are the poorest district. We're the most ignored district out of all the districts. Heather Hutt, you're not our representative. We did not vote for you. The people on those tapes, the disgraced city council members, are the one that appointed you to this position as an advantage to them. You are not our council person. If you want to be our council person, then you need to have a special election and you need to run. You are not a representative. Also, no resignations, no meetings. Y'all are complicit.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Which items would you like to speak on?
General public comment.
Very good. You have a minute. So please begin.
My name is Gina Viola. I'm with White People for Black Lives. We already know for certain, the whole world knows for certain, that this council has been led and supported by racists. Today we heard the city attorney incorrectly identify a black man in council chambers. How many more examples of explicit racism does this council need before you shut this shit down? Every meeting that you have, each and every one of you who attend, is showing that you support the racist council that is. No resignations of two outed racists, no meetings. They continue to not work, yet get a paycheck and be identified as your colleagues? How do you all not understand that you are complicit and no different from Nuri and her racist band of fools? Step down or get shut down.
Thank you, Speaker.
Caller, please state the items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning, gentlemen, Mr. President and City Council. I'm going to speak on the motion introduced by Maurice, Harris Dawson, Paul Kerokian, and Mike Bonning. It is not only undemocratic, but it is un-American. The voters and constituents of CD14 are not going to let other council members decide the fate of our district. By supporting this motion, you are telling about 10,000 people in CD14 that they are not going to have Thanksgiving turkeys and gifts to give to their children. This motion is anti-Latino. With the motion, you are saying that we are too dumb or too incapable of making our own political decisions. The constituents of CD14 are more than capable of holding our elected officials accountable. With this motion, you are saying that we are predominantly Latino district cannot be anti-racist in our own, and we need a majority of white council members to intervene on our behalf. Many of CD14 residents rely on monthly food distribution hosted by council member Kevin De Leon to make ends meet. Only dictators starve the other people this way. You keep saying that Kevin is holding CD14 hostage. It's not really the council members here who are denying us our rights.
Thank you.
Shame on.
Thank you, Speaker.
Are there any other speakers? Okay, so we've taken all of the speakers who are signed up here in the chambers and all of the speakers who called in, so that will close public comment on all items and general public comment. Mr. Clerk, what's now before us?
Mr. President, the council may now vote on items 18 through 20.
Okay, before we vote on those items, I would just like to speak briefly on item 18. This is, of course, the ordinance setting the special election in CD6, and I think that it's important to note that if this council were not meeting, we would not be able to set an election in CD6. And so over 250,000 Angelenos who are now deprived of representation because of the resignation of Ms. Martinez would be left without representation. So I think it just emphasizes the importance that the council continues to meet in order to respond to the very crisis that was created by the members that so many members of the public are talking about, and with whom we stand in solidarity. So I just wanted to point that out before we take this vote to set that special election. So with that, so items 18 through 20, did you say, Mr. Clerk?
That is correct, sir.
All right, so let's go ahead on those items. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
And for the record, the ordinance for item 18 will be held over for 1 week to Wednesday, November 9, 2022 for second consideration.
All right, and then that brings item 21 before us, and there is an amendment that's been proposed. Do we need to take a separate vote on the amendment? First of all, does anyone wish to be heard on item 21 or the amendment? I'm just going to reiterate again, as many of us have multiple times, that the council has now taken literally every legal step that's available to us under the city charter to urge the removal, the resignation of Mr. De Leon and Mr. Cedillo. There is, under the charter, no provision by which the council can remove a member other than the two clauses that are the subject of this motion. Absence from the city or failure to conduct the responsibilities of a council member. What this item does is allows us to explore what that means and where the limits of this council's power may be, so that if we can take further actions, those will come before this council and we'll be able to take additional action. That's the importance of this item, and again, that's the reason that this council needs to continue to meet. So do we need to take a separate vote on the amendment, or can we just vote on them as amended?
The council may now vote on item 21 as amended.
Very good. If there's no other members wishing to be heard, let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
All right, Mr. Clerk, what's next on the agenda?
Council has motions for posting and referral. Motions will be posted on the city clerk's website shortly after the meeting for the public's viewing. To subscribe to receive today's council motions to your email, please visit clerk.lacity.org.
Posted and referred. Mr. Clerk?
The desk is clear, sir.
All right, members, are there any announcements? Announcements on the left? Announcements on the right. I see none. Mr. Harris Dawson, did you have an announcement?
Tonight in the rain on Hoover and near Adams, we'll be having our annual Dia de los Muertos celebration. It is our first time back since COVID, so everybody cross your fingers for us. There'll be a big giant Ferris wheel, there'll be food, there'll be live band, and all the good stuff.
Thank you. Any other announcements, members? Ms. Rodriguez? Are there any adjourning motions? Adjourning motions on my left? Adjourning motions on my right? I see none. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.